Qantas, the national airline of Australia and potential enemy of the Australian people, which has a dreadful reputation for expensive prices, poor service and lackluster experience. Today, join me as I fly their economy class domestically on a Boeing 737-800 from Hobart in Tasmania to Melbourne in Victoria to see, are they really that bad? And the outcome might just surprise you. Hello and welcome to another Callum Elston video. Today you join me in the state capital of Tasmania, Hobart, as we're about to fly Qantas economy domestic across to Melbourne. We've had a great time on this island at the southern tip of Eastern Australia, and I would actually really recommend it despite some of the negative things I'd heard about it. But for now, we've got this SkyBus journey across down to the airport, which takes around about 30 minutes and actually has some really nice sightseeing on the way. The SkyBus was actually okay. It's a relatively easy way to get to and from the airport. It costs about $24 Australian one way, and for a couple, probably a much more cost efficient way of getting to the airport. If you're a family, you might want to consider getting a taxi instead. It's quite a small airport here at Hobart International, but everything actually went pretty smoothly upon check-in. Today, as I was flying with my Finnair Gold status, which is a One World Alliance partner of Qantas Airways, I could utilise the premium check-in and also the Qantas Club here at Hobart's airport. Qantas Club is not quite as good as their international lounges, but actually as a place to just sort of relax, and from this busy main terminal area, it's pretty okay to spend a bit of time here. And here it is, a little lackluster, but as things go, it could be a lot worse. Although sat right in front of the window glass gave excellent views, it was baking hot in here. We arrived at a time where they were just turning over from breakfast to lunch service, and actually the food was decent with excellent views of the aircraft arriving on the apron. Here you can see a Jetstar aircraft which had come from probably somewhere else in Australia. I took advantage of the time here with a lovely set of bubbles, which were Australian made of course, not champagne here. I spent the remainder of my time gazing at some more aircraft as they came and went. Then ultimately it was time to board our aircraft over to Melbourne. Boarding today was a bit hectic, and I think this is just because of the size of the airport and the domestic area being pretty small. Everyone was sort of crowded around, but things went pretty smoothly. We were able to jump into the queue for premium travellers, including us, even though we were in economy class today. There are no jet bridges here at Hobart Airport, even for international passengers, owing to the pretty small size of the airport, and instead we had to walk across to the aircraft, which meant we could get a last blast of that lovely Tasmanian air, mixed with a bit of kerosene jet fuel. This morning we'd be boarding via the rear steps because we were in economy class, and we were sat towards the rear of the aircraft, this Boeing 737-800, quite an old aircraft by any means. And I must say, I think the Qantas livery is absolutely beautiful with that red kangaroo tail. The cabin itself today is quite smart looking, with this greyish, bluish, blackish look and that checkered look towards the rear of the seat. It looks aged, but it has been well maintained, and in my view it's probably still a lot more comfortable than a lot of other seats you'll get. There's an excellent little headrest that goes up and down, and then you can pull the tabs on the left and right pretty easily. There are controls for the audio and channels in the armrest for those retro entertainment. And then there's a big pocket full of in-flight reading, including the safety card, a lovely little Qantas magazine, which is rather chunky, and air sickness bag to finish it all off, in case you didn't enjoy reading what was in them. And legroom was pretty good for this short journey across the Bass Strait. The aircraft is old, but they have managed to keep them fitted out with these tablet holders, or you could put your phone in there as well, which does make in-flight entertainment a bit better for travellers. I don't know why more airlines don't do this, because it doesn't exactly cost them a whole lot of money to install. And with that, it was time to get the safety video, which does drag on for a little while, this being Qantas, and to take off into the beautiful skies across southeastern Australia. Interrupt this video for a message from my friends at Bellroy. I have been using Bellroy products for over 7 years now, and they have served me brilliantly, including their shoulder bag and co-branded Cathay Pacific wallet. So I was more than happy to work with them when they offered me the chance to use their latest transit carry-on and check-in large cases. They're well built, as with all my other Bellroy products, but the best thing about them is that they have been engineered for longevity, with easily replaceable fix-it kits to replace key parts of the case such as the wheels and handles. If you're looking for a new suitcase that is well made, stylish and high quality, be sure to use my link with Bellroy down below or by scanning the QR code with your mobile phone. Thanks once again to my friends at Bellroy, and now back to the analysis. Between each pair of seats there is a couple of USB-A ports which charge my device just fine, and then there are those overhead screens which you just don't see in Europe anymore. On this flight they were playing communal programming like these advertisements, but most notably ABC News, the Australian public broadcaster, which is kind of nice to see. Apart from that, the rest of the flight it was mainly just in-flight moving map. The audio itself could only be listened to through the headphone jacks. My Apple MacBook 13-inch here fitted fine on the tray table, and I actually managed to use it for the free in-flight Wi-Fi. While this certainly isn't Starlink speeds, it was pretty good and ran really well in my books. I was able to do a bit of looking at emails, looking at documents online, and actually streaming a couple of YouTube videos. Wasn't super quick, but got the job done for these kind of sectors where I suspect there are a lot of business people traveling. And here's a bit of proof for you with a speed test of the Wi-Fi connection. It came in at a fairly okay 7 megabytes per second, so not blazingly fast, but not bad either. And the in-flight entertainment doesn't just stop there. They also have the Qantas Entertainment website and application. I took the time to download the app before we took off, and I will say it left me pretty impressed. I wasn't expecting to see this amount of selection of films, of television, alongside also having that free Wi-Fi connection. So I would say personally that this is a really excellent offering from Qantas. And a nice touch I saw they added there is that you have to connect to headphones in order to watch it, which I think is brilliant. I think that is a great addition in that you're not going to get people blaring out programming on the aircraft. It's just great for etiquette. I was able to record some of the commercials, but clearly because it's licensed programming, I couldn't capture anything else. This was then served alongside a Aussie beef and chicken and vegetable pie combo, and I had a Coke Zero to wash it down. And again, not the best food, but I found it pretty tasty. I really cannot fault how this flight went. Bathrooms equally functional. 737 bathrooms are tiny as they are, but they were kept clean throughout the journey and they were serviceable. So in my view, how was this Qantas flight in all? Now, this is going to anger a lot of Australians, but I thought that this was excellent. The experience I had from this one data point with Qantas was really good. They have a very good service, they have a very good overall offering with free Wi-Fi, with the entertainment option, with a decent snack just for a short flight like this. And I really don't think you could do much worse than what Qantas are offering. Now, that will anger a lot of Australians because Qantas and Virgin operate in a duopoly situation within Australia, effectively with many competitors like Rex, Regional Express, and many others going all the way back to Ansett Australia in the 90s, failing and going into administration. However, I do think that the service offered by Qantas on this flight was applaudable, even when you take into account all of the issues Australia has with aviation and an uncompetitive market compared to somewhere like Europe. Would I fly Qantas again? Well, if I was in Australia and the prices were decent, so that's another thing. Prices can be very expensive in Australia, but you can get around this quite often by booking with points, miles, either Qantas Club or whatever they call their frequent flyer scheme, or for me with British Airways Avios, I can get around it that way. I'm not likely to be in Oceania anytime soon, so I'm unlikely to need to fly, but I wouldn't mind doing it again. Arriving into Melbourne was pretty easy. We collected our cases all okay, and it was then time to head into the CBD area with another one of those lovely red SkyBuses. Thank you so much for watching today. I really appreciate it, and I hope that you enjoyed this video. What do you think of Qantas? Would you fly them based on this flight? I'd love to hear your thoughts. I'll see you next time, and happy flightings. Bye bye.